Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Bobby. We've got Dave. We've got Rob. How you guys doing?
Doing good, Bobby. How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Doing good, Bobby and Dave. How about you guys?
Sweating my tail off down here in North Carolina.
Yep. Sweating here in Ohio.
Sweating
Uh,
and we're getting a bunch of rain.
yep. So tonight we have Mark Setzer on the show, crew chief for the Xfinity Series number 27, Jordan Anderson Racing Chevrolet. Mark, how you doing, sir?
Good, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good.
Good, Mark. How about you?
Doing wonderful. It's great to see you guys again. It's been quite a while.
Yeah, episode 3 is when you were last on. That like I was saying earlier, you had a Christmas tree behind you. It's
Yeah, yeah.
I
That's
think it was what, December 16th or 17th, and now it's June 24th.
wow. Yeah, it's definitely been a while. So what episode are you on now? I can't keep up with it.
We are on episode 81.
Wow. You guys are kind of a long way. Really excited about everything you guys have been doing. And I said I've got to watch a few of them, but obviously stay so busy that don't get to see all of them, but I'll have to try to get caught up.
We're coming down in September, and we plan on making a stop at Jordan Anderson Racing.
Oh, absolutely. You come on by anytime. We'll show you around and show you what all we've got going on there at Jordan Anderson's.
You got
Right.
a broom you'll let me sweep?
Uh, I think we've got a guy for that and a Zamboni there. So we'll give you the VIP treatment when you come by. We'll show you around. We won't put you to work.
It just wouldn't feel like home.
Yeah, I understand.
So since the last time you were on, how's your season been going this year? And I seen that you got a P2 at Talladega.
Yeah, we've had a really great year. All the guys at Jordan Anderson Racing with John Bomarito have, they've been working hard all winter, up until this, through this last race weekend at Pocono. But we did, we lost Talladega by a few inches. I guess it depends on when they said they threw the caution. We were ahead at one point, and then obviously when they threw the caution, we were just uh, I think they said 0.001 seconds behind the 21 car that they credited with the win. So that was a heartbreaker. We could be locked into the playoffs, but we've had a great year. Currently, we're sitting eighth in the driver points and ninth in the owner points, and completed the last I looked, I think we've completed the second most laps in the series of anybody and got the fifth best average finishing position of the series right now. So we're really proud of the work that's being done there at Jordan Anderson Racing.
Do you want to tell us about last week's race and then what you're looking forward to at Atlanta this upcoming Friday?
Yeah, this past weekend at Pocono, we felt like we had a pretty good car in practice. We didn't qualify as well as we wanted to. We started 20th, but we track was really slick to start with. We lost a few spots, and Jeb found his race pace there, and we started moving back up. But it's so hard to pass unless you're just super fast there. But we played some strategy and ended up with an 11th place finish. Just missed out on another top 10 for the season. But really solid weekend. Another good points weekend. That's what we're trying to do to make the playoffs there for the Xfinity Series. So we're trying to get every stage point we can when possible and concentrating on finishing the races. Trying to haven't had a DNF yet. Knock on wood. So it's been really consistent this year. So we got Atlanta coming up this weekend. We finished sixth there at the first of the season. So had a really good car. So we're looking forward to going back there. And Jeb's really good at the super speedways, the Daytona and Talladega, and we've been pretty good there at Atlanta too. So we're looking forward to getting back there and seeing what we can do.
So
Now,
with
can I
oh,
ask you, going, we heard the scanners and everything like that coming from Pocono, going through the tunnel turn. I heard a lot of the drivers saying they were almost getting airborne going over that bump. Is it getting that bad?
Every year that we go back, there seems to be another bump. The bumps that's there get a little bit worse. The weather there, I think, just goes through such big swings from the wintertime to the summertime, and it just the track, and that's one thing that just makes the track special. I mean, it's definitely uh, aged well, in my opinion, and it still puts on some great racing with three very distinct different corners. So, yeah, the bumps are something. I'm not going to say we were going airborne, but they definitely felt it, and you can definitely see it on the TV of just how rough some of those corners are there at Pocono.
So now is it 3 or 5 corners?
It depends on who you ask. I'm going to
No,
go with there's three corners. You got the first, the second, that's the tunnel turn, and then you got turn three.
but I was wondering because I watch a lot of other guys on TikTok and YouTube, and they're like, all right, coming out of here is one. Then you got two. So as a crew chief, I wonder if you set up for 5 different corners, or just hey, let's try to make it good out of 2 out of 3.
Well, the track is so different between what we call turn one, then you have the tunnel turn, and then turn three. It's you can't be perfect in both of them. You have to give up something a little bit in one or the other, and you try to be the best you can through turn three because that brings you out on that long front straightaway. And if you do not get through three, then they're just going to eat you up down the straightaway with the draft and everything else. So
That's
that's
what I
what we
was hearing
concentrate.
too, is trying to focus on 1 and 3. Like
Yeah,
if you can get into one, carry speed, and you can get out of 3, lay down and go off of 3, you'll have a pretty good day.
yeah, that's exactly right. So if you're not getting through turns three very well, it's going to be a very long day because the front straightaway is just so long. If you lose the momentum there, yeah, and it's just killer.
Mark, I was going to ask you. Jeb Burton obviously is Ward Burton's son. Have you
Yes.
mastered what Ward says when he's talking to you? Have you deciphered the Burton language, I guess, or whatever they call it?
To a point, I would say. Um, you talk about some history in the sport when Ward comes around, just super down to earth. Really proud of his son, obviously, and just really supportive of what we've been doing there at Jordan's. And when he's there, I mean, he's definitely asking questions and he stays on Jeb too, so to keep him straight. So it's really good, and it's a lot of fun when Ward gets to come to the track and hang out with us.
Yeah, that's one of my follow-ups I was gonna say is, do you pick his brain, and does he provide, feedback and stuff to the team and stuff like that?
No, no, not really. I mean, he just asks, what we think, how we think the car is, and I mean, he may ask, what we may be doing, change wise, but no, he really lets the guys there at Jordan Anderson's, do their jobs. We got some great engineers. We've got, Shane Whitbeck, that was Jeb's crew chief last year, who has moved up to the competition director role, and I mean, without him, we wouldn't be where we are. Uh, with He's got his hands on every aspect of everything that's going on there at Jordan Anderson Racing, from heading up all the sim that we run, overseeing and all the engineers, the any R&D work that we're doing. Shane's got his hands involved in that, and with me coming in as the crew chief, giving him that free time to concentrate just on the stuff that's going to make us faster has just been just a huge benefit to the Jordan Anderson racing team. So we very excited about that, and so it's been a big team effort for sure. Everybody there.
Talking about Jordan, your boss is here. He just popped in, but he's not live yet. But I gotta tell you this story. So we're at Pocono last year. Rob, you knew I had to say something.
I was gonna bring it up actually, but this is funny.
So Mark, we're at Pocono last year. Rob goes over, or I meet Ward, I shake his hand, I get a picture with him. Rob goes to shake his hand or something and almost spills his Gatorade all over him.
So Ward's got his Gatorade in his hand and he goes to bump Fist. So he bumps Fist, but I bump it a little too hard and the liquid in it flies up, and he's got a white dress shirt on, but he had the sleeves rolled up. So I was like, oh, thank God. And these guys, or Bobby and whoever else was with me, was giving me crap about it. And I was like, I didn't mean to do it. I was just saying hi to him. I got a picture with him. I mean, he's a great guy. And he is a legend of the sport too. And I was like, I want my picture with Ward.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It was Adrian who was with us.
Yeah, I don't remember, but either way, yeah, I will never forget that. And I'm surprised Ward is probably hasn't put my name or had my picture put up in your pit box saying this person's not allowed around us.
Keep him away. He's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Right,
hear you.
So until Jordan comes in, can you tell us what it's like for you as a crew chief, like day in and day out, getting up to the race?
The dynamics there at Jordan's is, it's a little different. We treat everything as one big team. So we've got the 27 guys that work on my car for Jeb, and we've got the 31 guys, and we've got a group that works on the 32 when we take it as a third car. But everybody is hands-on all the cars as far as when they go through the teardown process, the building process. Everybody's got, whether it's a 27 or 31, you just forget about the number on it and you do that particular job. And it's made it really good there. But as far as the crew chief side for me, I'm very involved on overseeing the setup plate stuff for all three cars when we're setting them up. Shane obviously runs all the sim stuff and the engineers and stuff, and I'm involved in some of that. But really just, trying to make sure that we're taking all of our cars, not just the 27, all of them to the track as close as we can to being the same or whatever differences there may need to be for certain drivers. But we do that, work on the pull down rig, help pull down all three cars to make sure we're keeping everything consistent across the board. And then, then our guys do all the nut and bolt process, getting it ready to load in the hauler and stuff while I do the final scaling on the cars. So a lot going on there, day in and day out between the setup process, going to GM. During the sim sessions, we take cars down to GM every week to do the OSS body scan and chassis scan. So without Chevrolet support, that's they're really big supporter of Jordan's. So we try to use that resource as much as we can there at GM. So it's a lot of different aspects of it, but there's not just one thing or just one car that I'm focused on. Everybody is kind of helping on everything there.
Now, how was Mexico from you guys? For you guys, did you guys have a smooth trip there and back?
Yeah, you got to be careful in talking about Mexico.
Yeah, we're good friends with Mr. Boyd.
Yeah, you can get in trouble for different things, but no, the flight there, the screening process through the customs deal, the flight home, all that was great. The bus transportation to the track and back wasn't bad. Traffic there is crazy. I will say that the amount of motorcycles that people's riding and the cars, the just the sheer number of people there. I think someone said that Mexico City was maybe the fifth largest city in the world. So I can see that with the traffic situation, but the track was great. We we had a good run there. We finished eighth. We qualified 18th, but played strategy, and like I said, we made the most of our day and came out with the eighth place finish. So it was a fun trip. I mean, I haven't heard anything about the schedule. I've heard rumblings that we may go to Canada next year. I don't know if that means we won't go back to Mexico, or if Mexico's a 3-year deal like Portland was. So we'll wait to see what they come out with on the schedule. But all in all, I mean, we didn't have any, as far as Jordan Anderson racing, I don't know of any hiccups or any problems there whatsoever. And the racetrack was beautiful. The fans were engaged, and obviously super excited with when Daniel Suarez won. But it was a really neat experience for sure.
Yeah, I honestly thought the circuit and television really brought it to life. You know, and the racing was good as well. It
Yeah.
wasn't like Chicago where it was kind of follow the leader. He
Hmm.
actually had some good racing and
Oh yeah.
well, some quality time watching it.
Yeah, I really thought the racetrack was really cool, really fun. The stadium section there when they come in, and you could hear the crowd just erupt when they came into that section of the racetrack. Really, really neat experience for sure.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that last week, how just different that is. That would be like the cars coming out of the tunnel at Panther Stadium,
Mhm.
and then running right through. I mean that's something to have seats that close, and
Oh
the
yeah.
noise has got to be ridiculous going through that tunnel.
Yeah, it was really neat. And like I said, they were running some other races there when we were leaving the one day, and the fans that was there in that stadium section, and the cars coming through there, it was pretty neat experience.
So we've got Jordan Anderson in the building. How you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. Sorry it took me a minute to get on there. I was driving and it wouldn't let me get my video started till I was parked. So sorry to just jump in here, but I got to listen to you guys talk about Mark coming and joining our program, and appreciate you guys having us on tonight and being able to talk about our season. I got to tell you, I told Mark yesterday we've had a lot of fun this year, and a lot of hard work and effort has gone into getting to this point as a organization and team. We got a lot of smart people under our roof this year, and it's been really fun to go to the track this year. We've got lots to talk about, so I appreciate y'all having us on to talk about everything tonight.
Well, we're gonna pick your brain a little bit, and then we'll go back to Mark. But tell us about yourself and the race team. Obviously, you used to race full time. Tell us how everything came about.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. People ask me all the time that's kind of a question I get asked a lot is, where did the race team come from? Where did the idea for it come from? And I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina, down there in the heart of the state, and didn't come from a family that really had anything to do with racing. My mom owned a hair salon, and my dad was real involved in real estate and flipping houses and fixing them up. And so they both worked for themselves. They both were hard workers. They would work, my mom and dad would work, 60, 70, 80 hours a week sometimes just to avoid working 40 for somebody else. So they were kind of that mentality that kind of got impressed on me at a young age, and knew that I wanted to be in racing. I remember as a kid going to my grandparents' house watching, ESPN Classic, watching races from the 90s, when they used to show all those races, and just fell in love with it and didn't know how to get involved with it. And we actually got two people that kind of played a role in getting involved. Went out to watch a dirt race out in I-20 in South Carolina, and bumped into Nick Hutchins, who was, multi-time WKA champion at the time, had a broken arm, so he wasn't racing that night, but we kind of got to know his family. And I think Nick is on the setup plate over at Haas right now, but Nick was a big racer back in the day, and when he got his cast off, invited me to come out and try one of his go-karts, and went out and did it, and the rest was kind of history. Fell in love, and Went through that journey, did go-karts, ran WK asphalt for a couple years. And my dad and I, we would show up at the racetrack and people would say, hey, you might be faster if you didn't have your toe out so far. And we'd look at our shoes. We were clueless about anything to do with racing, and we had no idea what we were doing, but we were doing it together. And it was very fun. A lot of races, showing up with my dad's Silverado with a lawn trailer and a go-kart and just going out there and doing it. And we jumped up and I ran Bandoleros for a couple of years, got into a legend car when I was a teenager, ran those for a handful of years, won 2 championships out of the summer shootout out there at Charlotte, and then decided it was time for something different and jumped up and ran a dirt late model. Did 2 years of that through the Carolinas, run Gaffney and Carolina and Lancaster, and ran all those places there for 2 years. And, I love dirt racing, but, NASCAR was where my heart was. So I was like, all right, I got to get back over to the other side of the world. And that's when I got a super late model. Had the late great Bobby Gill was my crew chief for a year when we first got into that stuff. And Bobby taught me a lot. We didn't have a big budget back then, so we had to pick and choose what races we ran. And I think over the course of 2 years, we probably ran 20 races. We won 4 of them, had a lot of success there. And then it was time to go K&N race. And this is where things kind of started to get interesting. I got to know a guy that was about my age. This would have been 2014. So I would have been, 24, 23, 24 at the time. And he wanted to go K&N race, and he wanted to help sponsor me, get this deal going. Budget wasn't an issue. I was probably a little naive at the time to realize that was probably too good to be true. But we went out and bought a car and did all the other stuff. And we ran Greenville Pickens, did that deal. Then we went to Richmond and race going, blew a tire, crashed. Not a good day, but about 2 weeks later, I got a call from NASCAR, Penske Shocks, the crew chief I had at the time, several other people. Hey, the check bounce, credit card's no good, this no good, money's not good, check bounce. The deal went on and on and on. And that was 2014. And I still had my late model at the time. And I kind of went back to South Carolina and asked my dad for some advice on what to do. And he said, you just gotta do what's right. You can't leave anybody out in the dark on this situation, because I was the one that put the deals together. I wasn't the one writing the check, but I put the deals together. So what I ended up doing back in 2014 was selling my late model. I sold my motor, sold everything I had, and got everybody paid off. And I figured that was it for Jordan Anderson in the racing world. But at least I wasn't going to go out owing anybody any money. I just graduated college, so I was figuring, all right, time for me to go get a job working for a team or doing something like that. And funny story, and again, this is where things get crazy, is I had just enough money left over that I said, you know what, let me go call around some of these smaller truck teams at the end of 2014, see if there's some way to at least make a truck start so I can say I ran a NASCAR race before my career was over. And I remember getting hooked up with Mark Beaver out of Shelby over there for Phoenix. And he said, hey, if you can cover, buying, 2 or 3 sets of tires, come run for us. And that was Phoenix in 2014. Made my debut in Truck Series. Ran for Harmon the next week, because Mike kind of said the same thing. Hey, if you can find some tires, come drive for me. Went and ran Homestead and got me approved for Daytona. And over the offseason, Mike and I got hooked up. And he said, hey, if you can figure out how to field this truck, it's all yours. So, I scraped and scrounged and had a dually and a gooseneck, that 40-foot trailer that everybody got to see run up and down the road. And we took one truck and probably 15 old SB2 motors that we scrounged together and changed heads and whatever you could do to make it through the whole year. And we ran the whole 2015 season with one truck. We took it to Daytona, Talladega, Martinsville, Mosport, Kansas, Vegas. That thing went everywhere. And I think we finished 17th in points that year, which was crazy. But that got me a ride the following year for another truck team. Ran for those guys and lost my ride at the end of 16. Kind of went back to Mike in a different form for 17. And halfway through 17, I was like, you know what? I'm doing all this work for everybody else, and I'm loving that I'm getting the opportunity to race, but I got to figure out something that's a little bit better long term. And that was when I got to know John Bomarito. I cold called him in the racetrack back in 2016 for 2 sets of tires, and they sponsored us. And that kind of kickstarted a relationship to get to know him. And I kind of gave him my idea back in 2017 of starting a team. He said, well, if you start a team, I'll buy you 2 motors and we'll help get this thing off the ground for you. And the rest is kind of history. Went truck racing in 18, did trucks 18, 19, 20. Had some good success there. For what we were, it was me and 3 or 4 other guys that a lot of blood, sweat, tears to make that thing work. Had a lot of fun, got to do a lot of racing, but I knew that there was maybe something to the next level up. And that was when we decided to go Xfinity racing in 21. And everybody that ever heard that story went to Daytona, and qualifying got rained out during COVID. There wasn't any qualifying for the next 10 races up until we went to Charlotte and COTA. And I was like, you know what? I got a lot riding on me to qualify for these 2 races and rack up points. Let's put a shoe in the car and go log some points, because we had to finish high enough in those 2 races to try to get top 40 in points. And at the time, it was mathematically possible. It was a long stretch, but it was. And we put Reddick in the car. He finished top 10 at COTA, went and finished top 5 at Charlotte. And we were like 4 points outside the top 40, and we weren't going to be able to run the next race until got digging really deep in the rule book and found a loophole that said if you put a race winner from that year in your car, you were guaranteed a provisional in the field. And that's when Josh Berry came in the picture, put him in the car at Mid-Ohio. Josh goes and finishes 8th at the road course, and we were top 40, and off we went. And that year was really fun. We had Austin and Ty Dillon drove, Sage Karam. I got to run, got to finish top 5 at Talladega that year. We had a lot of fun. Eric Jones come and ran for us. Josh ran a lot of races for us. It was a fun year, a lot of success that year, and that kind of led us into Myatt Snyder approaching us for 22 to come run with TaxSlayer. I ran a full season with Myatt that year, and then we decided to take the next jump up. In 23, we went to 2 cars for the first time with Jeb and Parker Retzloff. We did that for 2 years with that duo. And that led us into this year with Jeb returning. We joined Blaine Perkins with a 31, and we've had the 32. I've got to run it some. Catherine's run it some. Austin Green with the Peterson Racing Group's got to run it some, and that thing's really starting to take off. It's been fun to watch that and give drivers an opportunity. But I know that's a lot to digest, but that's kind of the elevator, the 100-floor elevator story of this racing journey and what we've all been through. But I think that background is why you look at the team and the success that we've had, trying to surround myself and the team with people that are racers, that are passionate about what they do and want to get better and want to go and win races and be successful. And, the story of Shane, Whitbeck, our competition director, him and I got to know each other when I bought my first trucks back in 2018. I bought them from BKR and bought the owner points from when Brad had his truck team. And Shane would actually stay late at work sometimes when BKR was kind of in its later stages, and Shane would help pull my trucks down at night. He didn't have to, but he was kind of helping us out and trying to get better. And that kind of built that relationship. And then Mark and I actually worked together back in 2016 when he was working for the Godovics over at PPM. I got to go drive the 46 car, and didn't have a lot of Xfinity experience at the time, but I think down there at Homestead that year, there was a lot of cars that went home, and we were able to qualify in the field and had a fast car. That forever sunk in with me how much I enjoyed working with him. And, I've been trying to get Mark over here for a long time to be a part of what we got going on. And, seeing him and Jeb. I mean, Jeb's another one of those guys. Jeb, up until he came to our team, was never at a team for more than a year. And, he's on year 3 of racing with us, and things are just starting to gel. It's fun to watch Mark and Jeb and Shane and our whole group of guys work so well together. And it's just really, they're digging in and focusing on covering the basics first. And there's nothing really trick about it. It's just old school hard work. And these guys are rolling up their sleeves and focusing on the details. And, they're thinking outside the box on, we may not have the budget of some other guys who we're racing against, but man, it's cool to see that 27 sitting 8th in points right now.
Now, are you looking at maybe having the 32 as a full-time car next year?
It's something I think about, but my wife and I kind of had this conversation the other day. She said, do you really want to have gray hair by the time you turn 35? And I was like, man, I don't know about that. So, we'll see. The main priority is the 27 and 31. we like the opportunity that the 32 provides to kind of be a little bit of a R&D or all-star car, if you want to call it. So, I've still got the desire for myself to race some. I was supposed to run Talladega earlier this year, and we ended up putting Catherine in the car. And, it's just kind of for the greater good of helping her out in her journey and helping our team grow along. And, I've still got the desire to race some more in there. I'm getting a little older, but I'm not that old just yet. So, I've always said if I can run at least my 3 or 4 plate races a year, I'll be happy. So, obviously want to grow that thing and see where things go. I'm always one never to say never. But for sure we want to make sure that our main 2 cars are solid. But we do have a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes. My partner and I, John Baum, right on the team, just bought a building next door to our main shop there in Statesville. It's 15,000 square feet. That gives us a total of 30,000 square feet total there on our street. And we're going to really focus on our bodies right now in house. We really want to focus on growing that side and maybe adding a CNC machine in there and a water jet, and really focus on the fabrication side of the team and growing that side and just being better. We don't have an alliance with any team. We're thankful that we get our engines from ECR and our chassis from RCR and get parts from them. But as far as the setups and what our guys go to the racetrack with, that's through their what's in their brains and what they figure out with the tools that Chevy gives us. And it's been fun to kind of be able to stand on our leg, and it's taken us longer to get there, but our guys are definitely building something that's going to give us something to really stand on, we hope, in the long term.
So Jordan, what is it that makes you such a good plate racer? I mean, I think, what was it? Last year it was like 4th and 6th or something, or 9th or something like that at Daytona. This year you started out Daytona, you raced Daytona, and it was P4. What makes you such a great plate racer?
I think it honestly goes back to 2015 when I had just the one truck. There was no option to wreck that truck because I needed it probably Bristol the very next week. And a lot of that racing style of just having patience and knowing you got to be there at the end, with me not racing full time, stage points don't mean anything to me. The only thing is seeing a checkered flag. And, funny story last year was we brought on a new partner in Volpe, and my goal was, hey, I want to make sure I'm running to the end just as a new sponsor. And the last thing I need to do, and we've seen it happen many times, is plate race and you can wreck on lap 13, your day is done. And they actually wrecked on lap 1 of that same race, and somebody hit me the bumper and about got wrecked. And I'm like, oh God, the race was almost over before it got started. But a lot of it's just patience. We joke about it being high speed chess, and it takes a good team behind you. You look at Mark's history when him and Jeremy went down there. You got to have a good car. You got to have a fast car, but you got to have a driver that knows and is willing to take chances. I mean, you'll see me a lot of times. I'll be running 9th or 10th, and you see the scoring pile on update, and I'm 36th. There was actually a time in the race earlier this year where Jeb got behind me, run down the front to the back stretch, and my car was 400 RPM higher than it had been all night. Jeb had me jacked up, rolled on the back stretch. I'm like, nope, go on by. And I went below the yellow line and let the field go by. I just wasn't wanting to get in the middle of it that soon. But, a lot of it's just patience and making sure you're there at the end.
Well, it's always good to see you back in the car. I enjoy it, especially that big smile that you have and the excitement when you get out of the car and the interview on pit road after the race. It's pretty cool to see. You don't get to see a team owner that often be able to race for their own team.
Yeah, no, it's definitely it's something that I look back at the days of how the Cup Series was founded, and so many of those guys that were driver owners, and it definitely is a different cut of cloth of guys that were racing. A lot of respect for those that founded the sport, and it's something that, again, I wish I could do it more. But the cool opportunity that's ahead of us is growing the team. That's kind of a few years ago when the priority switched. That used to be always Jordan race car driver. Now it's like Jordan, the opportunity to grow this team. It's bigger than me now, and having a partner come in with John Baumrita to grow it, and having so many smart guys and people that are part of this journey. It's been a fun one, and it's also been one of learning, to pick and choose and make sure you're making the right decisions, because this isn't a 2 or 3 year plan for us. This is something to hopefully be here for a really long time, and want to be a part of the sport for a long time. And Want to give people an opportunity, want to make sure I have all the best resources, and that's why we do things a certain way to make sure that we can buy new cars and hang new bodies, and we got to buy a roamer arm in the middle of last year. That was a huge step forward for us. So being able to add those resources and just get better every year, buying this new building, it's fun to be on the flip side. But I got to say, I mean, sitting on a pit box, it's more stress for me watching these guys race than driving the race car. So I can only imagine, Mark and Cody and those guys when they're calling those races, I'd be out of my mind. I can't. I got a little bit of ADD in me somewhere, and I can't stay focused that long because I get all spun out, and stressed out, and that might be why I was good at plate racing. But it is fun to watch the journey this team has been on, and having people be a part of this journey. So it's cool to watch.
Now, I want to ask you something about your wreck with the truck. Do you still reflect on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I talk about it all the time. I got some cool battle scars on my arms from that thing still, and I got a little mark on my neck still. And I actually still got the truck. I got a storage unit I bought up in north side of Statesville, and we pulled the motor out and rolled the truck in there, and it sits just the way it came off the racetrack. I had intentions that next year trying to fix it up and take it back down there, but we still got too busy. But it was kind of one of those things that was I guess trying to find the positive side in it was kind of crazy to see that they did change some rules. You look at they made the head sock or the balaclava mandatory. They made the driver fireproof underwear mandatory. I didn't have any of those things. So, if what happened to me keeps somebody safe down the road, then it was all for a purpose. But people a lot of times walk at me and like, hey, you're that guy that jumped out of the truck that was on fire, right? I'm like, yeah, that's me. So it's something to sit back and joke about now, but looking back in the moment, it was not fun, not anything I'd want to ever experience before. And my wife and I were 4 months into being married, so something she probably didn't enjoy too much. But I think that's why it's given me a greater appreciation talking to our guys in the shop of how important it is to build safe race cars and how important the safety side of it is. And again, I think that's why looking at it's kind of funny if you look at the lineup of our team, uh, Cody McKenzie, our crew chief on the 31, used to race late models down at Florence. Shane, our competition director, he was, big in go-karts, ran all that stuff for a long time. And Mark was one to be reckoned with in a late model, back in the day. So I think that's why having guys that are racers, such a big part of this team is why I think it's meshed so well, as they think about and appreciate things in maybe a different light than somebody else might. I think I probably asked Mark for an autograph at Hickory back in the day. I think I need to dig through. Me and Kendo were talking about that. I probably got one of your autograph cards on one of my piles from back in the day over there.
That might have been back in the time where I was going to the Rite Aid or the drugstore and getting just photocopies, multiple copies of the same picture, just to have something to hand out.
Yeah, I remember they line us all up on the front stretch up there at Hickory and do autograph session there. Those were some good times.
Yeah, a lot of memories at Hickory Speedway for sure.
Well, they still do that at Hickory. We went and me and my girlfriend went down to see the Cars Tour last year, and we were supporting Ashton Higgins with the Alliance Driveway car, and it was still cool to watch them line up the super late models, and then the what is it, Cars Tours cars, and everybody got an autograph, a picture, a smile, and I want to say even Josh Berry was there as well running that night.
Nice. Yeah, no, it's one of those things, and I don't know that it'd be kind of a good conversation to talk about. But Mark, we've talked about all the different kind of racing here. I got a question for you. Is how's it been working with Jeb this year? I know he's a all fireball personality and everything to work with, but how has it been? I know you've worked with a lot of drivers over your career, but what's one thing that has stand out to you that has been kind of your biggest challenge, but also your biggest victory of working with him this year?
About a challenge. He's just passionate. I mean, and I think we all were when we were drivers. It's just, you want to always be better. You never have a perfect race car, and it's that passion that I think that, you know, it helps fire me up to, you know, to make sure that we try to give him the best pieces that we can week in and week out. Obviously, you know, we haven't been, you know, great at all the tracks, but like we said, you know, we've completed this. I think it was what, the second most laps of anybody in the series. So we're finishing races, and then consistency wise, I mean, we're fifth in the average finish. So, you know, that just speaks volume for the guys in the shop. But the Shane has been very helpful. You know, you may hear me on the radio with Jeb, but like we said, Shane Whitbeck is just so instrumental in everything that's behind the scenes and on the radio on race weekends to because he has that working relationship with Jeb. So if there's something that he hears that maybe I'm not picking up on, to have Shane Whitbeck there, you know, to talk to or ask his opinion is one thing I think that's just made this whole team even stronger than it was with Shane as the crew chief, because now we've got, you know, Shane and his passion for it, myself, and obviously your passion for the race team, and then, you know, Jeb behind the wheel. I think it's been really good.
It definitely has. It's been fun to watch that dynamic unfold. And, you know, I think the biggest thing is we talk about all the time, you want to have a lot of smart people in the room. And when you came in this year, I think you brought some fresh ideas and, you know, kind of gave somebody for Shane to bounce ideas off with. And then with Cody coming in with his background. So it's definitely been cool to see everybody come from their different backgrounds and experience, and the way it's all kind of meshed together to be what everybody is seeing on the racetrack. You know, nobody gets to hear all the stuff that goes on that second channel, all the back and forth. And, you know, it's fun to listen to it and watch that and see the dynamic unfold. But I think what you've done with Jeb this year has been really cool. You've kind of given him a cool confidence that he's got of knowing the car's good, but how important it is to be there at the end. And, you know, I saw somebody on Twitter comment the other day, they're like, man, Jeb just has a way of popping up with like 10 to go, 15 to go. And you guys probably see it on the TV broadcast. That's kind of our goal. You know, we try to be smart. Mark's done a good job of getting us some stage points this year, but man, him and Jeb got it figured out how to be there at the end. So that's for me on the team owner side. It makes me happy when that car loads in the hauler with all the fenders on it too.
Well, we talked to the crew chief. Let's hear it from you on uh, Jeb finishing second at Talladega. I still think that he won the race, but I mean,
I
what's your
second that.
opinion?
I agree. I think he did too, but
Yeah, I got to have a nice meeting with NASCAR the next week. I think we were at Texas after that, and they showed me all the other details and technology that was behind their decision. So I kind of at least gave me some respect for that decision. I still would have loved to see them race back to the line and won it outright. You know, it could have gone. We could have been there celebrating with the Gatorade and holding the trophy up, but it could also gotten left reared to the grass. So I know it can go either way, but hopefully that gives me a little hope that we got Daytona coming up, and it would be nice to win our way into playoffs. But man, that's you know, we talk about opportunity races, and the speed that we had at Talladega wasn't like we just kind of were one of the last cars standing. There was, I think, 27, 28 cars still in the lead lap, still running strong, but we were up there all day fighting for that spot. So, you know, the guys put a lot of effort into it. You go back and look at Daytona at the start of the year. We were talking about it today, you know, was right there in the mix at Daytona as well. So our guys put a lot of effort, a lot of attention to detail into those plate races, and knowing that's a shot for us to win. But it also takes the strategy of, you know, what to do during the race, what adjust, a very fast-paced, coordinated dance effort that goes into it of pulling off all the right moves. But you know, that's one of those things. If you go back and watch it, man, I sat there and everybody kind of started celebrating a little bit. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, man, I don't want to get my hopes up. And then when they said P2, I'm like, it was so close. Because, you know, as a team, that would kind of change your whole season, because that locks you in the playoffs. That takes that whole stress off. I mean, look at, you know, the 8 car that got the win at Rockingham when the 2 got DQ'd. You know, we're ahead of him in points, but they're locked in. And that's kind of the win in you're in playoff system. But hopefully that's not going to be our last chance. You know, Atlanta this weekend is kind of a quasi plate track. You got to have a good car that handles, and you got to make sure your stuff from an aero standpoint point is balance to race around people, and our guys were super fast there early in the year. I can't remember where we finished. Mark, was that
We
fifth,
finished
fourth, fifth,
sixth at
sixth, somewhere in
Atlanta.
there?
Yeah, we finished sixth at Atlanta,
Yeah,
and
early.
you were talking about Talladega. I mean, we qualified fifth there. So, like you were saying, it wasn't that a lot of cars fell out or wrecked for us to have a chance at running second and or winning the race. I mean, we were fast the whole day, and really super, super good car there, and I think we were running top 5 at Daytona until the white flag crash, and ended up finishing 16th. So we were right there at both super speedway races, fighting for a win. So
Hopefully, we can go bring a checker flag home this weekend. That'd be nice.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. We'll be partying it up in Atlanta, and bringing that checker flag back to Jordan Anderson Racing and putting another banner up on the wall.
It'd be nice. We'll run that checker flag all the way up 85 back to Statesville.
Yeah, yep, that's right.
And then we'd get to see it in September.
Oh,
There you go.
absolutely.
There you go.
That's the game plan. Is we're gonna come down for our 100th episode with Harrison's, and then throughout the week we're gonna do shop tours. And my fiance's kind of got everything set up to where, okay, this shop's here, this shop's here. And I had sent her a text a couple days ago, and I'm like, "Hey, do you have Jordan Anderson Racing on there?" She's like, "Yeah, but if it's in Statesville, that's too far." I said, "No, it's not." I said, "We'll make that trip."
Well, you let me know. We'll make sure we get you guys some lunch or something today if you come up.
Thank you. We said something to Mark. Mark said we get the VIP treatment.
You gotta be careful with that one.
we
I
had the
don't know.
suite.
I don't know what that includes.
He said we'd have to
VIP
sweep
treatment.
the
I just told
floors.
them they didn't have to sweep or use the Zamboni. That's that's
Therefore-
the VIP treatment. We don't put you to work.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, we look forward to having you guys up there.
You're gonna put Dave to work and make him change a tire, right?
I don't know.
Since-
I might. We'll hold off on getting the bathrooms clean. So I may give you a scrub brush when you come up.
Sounds good. I know whenever I used to go over to JCR, Mark would have me putting the car on the plate. Hey, sweep this up. You're not just gonna stand there and watch us work. Grab something. You don't want the dad to come into the shop and see you just sitting there. Okay. So I'm right at home
Thanks.
with a broom in my hand.
Takes a village.
Yeah.
So Jordan, I know you're really busy, and I just want to ask you one more question. But what are your social media platforms where fans can follow you and the team, and how do they get hero cards?
Yeah, I definitely. I post more of my stories and they get back posting a little more, but I got Instagram. It's at Jordan Anderson Racing. Same thing on Facebook, Jordan Anderson Racing, and then my Twitter. I think I need to get it updated. It's still J66 Anderson on there, and then I got my good old TikTok. I think it's Jordan Anderson Racing as well. But you can also follow the race team at JAR NASCAR. Same thing from Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We always got all kind of stuff we're posting on there, documenting our travels, everything we got going on at the racetrack, and we've got a new website that we're building right now, jordanandersonracing.com. Actually, it's like the website might be launched later this week, so we're excited to get that up and running. And we've got some information on there on how people can request autograph cards to send to SASE, the SAS, to the shop there in Statesville, and we'll send out autograph cards. Typically, get Jeb and Blaine and myself, whatever everybody requests, ship back to them, and then sometimes during the week we usually got the shop closed Thursdays and Fridays, but Monday to Wednesday we usually have a lot of people swing by and grab some autograph cards and try to give them a little view into the shop right there. So we're not a Hendrick or Gibbs or any of those teams with a big view in there. You got a little glass through the front window there to look through everything going on back in the back and look into the zoo there. So we got a lot going on back there. But no, we appreciate all the support. Thanks for having Mark and myself on here, and hopefully we can talk about our making a playoffs later this year, I hope.
Absolutely. We'll have to have you back on. Same with you, Mark. You both are welcome anytime.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys, and we appreciate all the support, and we'll hopefully go have a good run down Atlanta this weekend.
Well, thank you for coming on, and good luck with the rest of the season.
10-4. We'll see you guys soon.
Take
All
care,
right.
Jordan. Thank you again.
See you tomorrow,
Thank you, Mr.
Jordan.
Anderson.
See you guys.
All right, Mark, you're back up, buddy.
Yes, sir.
So how's
cool.
it working for Jordan?
Man, it's been great. It just brought a refreshing, deal back to the racing. I've been doing this a long time from the time I started to first going to work at Rusty Wallace Racing to RCR to now to Jordan's, and it's just fun. I've got to get back to being a crew chief, to where I was having to wear a lot more hats than that with the other jobs. So it's just fun. Got a great group of guys. My 27 guys: Dusty and Dakota, Trace, Bill, Mike. I mean, that whole group it's just been great to work with. And when I left today, they were still there, nut and bolting the car, getting it ready to put on the plate to final scale and do the final touches on it so we can get it loaded tomorrow afternoon. So it's just, I can't say enough. I mean, me and Jordan, like he mentioned, we got a chance to work together back in 2016, and he's asked me and approached me for the last 2 or 3 years to come to work for him, and the timing wasn't right. Different things going on, and then this winter just decided to make a change from Jeremy Clements Racing to Jordan's, and it's closer to home. So it's just giving me more time. I got 2 young grandbabies that I love seeing on the weekends, or when the daughters get to bring them by in the evenings. So I'm home more for that. So it's really been great.
Now, don't tell Jordan, but damn, it made me feel real old when he said he was 35 years old. It felt like I'd been watching him on TV for a decade now.
Yeah,
I looked
it's
at him and
amazing how the time flies.
I know it. I looked at him and I'm like, he's still a young man. I said, at 35 years old, running his own shop. I mean, there's guys that are still racing that are his age plus.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and Jordan has worked for it. I mean, for sure. I mean, if anybody that's kept up with his social media stuff and the trips up and down the road, like he said, with the dually and the gooseneck trailer, the work that he put in, and I mean, he's still there. I mean, I'll see messages that he posts where he's at the shop still at midnight, cleaning, organizing. Just he's hands on and just very involved. I mean, he's worked hard for it, and I think that's one thing that people get behind him, is because he's just not going to sit there in the office and play on the computer all day. He's out there and he's involved with everything.
And I remember Mark Martin was on episode 25 of our podcast last year, and we were talking about different smaller teams in the Xfinity series. And he said Jordan Anderson Racing was one of the teams that he said Jordan is doing it right, the right way. And, I agree. I mean, from when I was doing a little bit of background on him, obviously I knew he raced, but I didn't know about the background of how the race team came together. And when he mentioned that part about the debt that he paid off, because it was a deal that he made, that says a lot about his character and doing the right thing. And that was one of the really impressive things that stuck out to me about him. And then obviously he's 35. He runs his own team. He's got two and a half cars, I guess you could say, 2 full-time and an all-star car that runs. It's pretty impressive what he's been able to do in a short period of time at age 35. So,
and like I said, he's definitely worked for it. The people that with John Bomarito's backing, uh, the shop, the expansion of the shop that he talked about. Having 3 haulers there sitting at your shop, from the pit boxes to the garage boxes. I mean, if you look at everything, I mean, everything is just neat. I mean, professional looking, and that's Jordan. I mean, he's not going to let something go out there and not look like, it should be on a cup car. So he's very passionate about it, and the work that goes into that from everybody there in the shop, they pick up on that. So it's really been fun.
Now, ooh, what do you say about that text I just sent you?
Uh, Let me see here. Not winning best in show. Uh, I will I will agree to disagree, but I love Ray and consider Ray a good friend, and I like what he has, but if I had to go back, it's still not as good as the Homestead car last year. So, he can say what he wants, but this one looks good that he's talking about, but I think his Homestead was better.
All right, so since we're talking about it, I'm gonna show everybody real
This-
quick.
Homestead car you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You tell me a better looking car, you know,
Yeah.
that was a great looking race car.
So Ray is saying, and I'm gonna pull it up here in a second. Ray said this is best in show. It is a very sharp looking car. So I think it'll be very sharp looking. I think that car is gonna be very sharp looking come what is it, Friday night? Under the lights.
Yeah.
It'd be a good racing weekend for sure.
Yeah, that's right. They're doing it's a night race at Atlanta now.
Yeah.
forgot
yeah,
about
I think
that.
it starts at 7:30 Friday night, I believe.
Yeah.
You think so, Mark?
Think. I just when everybody starts walking to pit road, hey, something must be going on, so I just go out that way too and see what's happening.
Well, how
I'm
you
just there-
taking my race car?
Yeah, I'm just there for the food, honestly.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that's great.
So Mark, I know that I know you're a very busy guy. I don't want to hold you up. Good luck this upcoming weekend and then the rest of the season, and we look forward to seeing you in September.
Appreciate it, guys. It's great catching up. Congratulations on the show and everything you guys have been doing, and we'll see you there in September, and if not at a racetrack before.
It sounds good.
Sounds good. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks
guys, y'all
again.
take care.
You too.
Thanks,
You
Mark.
too.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, so I want to apologize. I didn't realize that as soon as I go into share mode that my laptop decides that it wants to be static mode. So I'm sorry. I want to apologize. As you can tell, I'm not in my house.
But if you do want to see a picture of that car, just go over to our Facebook account and we'll have that posted. I'm assuming.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll post it here out right after the show. But
But yeah, another really good looking car, but I still got to say the Miami Vice was by far the best car.
yeah. The old GTA Miami Vice.
Yep.
I had a chance to go to that race too. We were in Florida. I don't know why I didn't go.
I mean,
But-
the crew shirts even are phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole thing. Usually, when Ray is involved with an idea, and Micah Maselli, who designs Jeremy Clements' race cars, something awesome is going to come out of it. Sort of like with the Spartan Waste and Fox Sports Spartanburg, Ryan Delaney and then Mark Mullen, Mark Nelson, when they do their fall, was it Martinsville, I think it is, race scheme. Yeah, they always knock it out of the park with that one too. Either Halloween, Thanksgiving this last year. It's good. They're cool cars, so that's for sure.
They really are. Dave, you got anything? I'm having technical difficulties over here.
Yeah, really, I got nothing. I'm ready for a good was it Thursday or is it just Friday and Saturday? Is it Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for truck Xfinity Cup? Because I know Cup's racing Saturday night. I don't know if the trucks are running Thursday or if they're going to run early on Friday.
I will let you know. They are running at Lime Rock.
That's right.
They practice Friday, qualifying Saturday morning, and then the race is at noon Central Standard Time. So that's going to be a standalone race. So the scanner app won't be available for that race, unfortunately. But Xfinity,
Hopefully Mark's still watching so he knows what time the race starts.
we'll have to message him.
Yeah.
Hey, the race is on. We don't see you in the pit box.
That's great.
Yeah, here, I don't know why. Oh, here it is. So Friday is Cup qualifying. Friday evening at 4:05, and then Saturday at 6:00 is a race. And then for Xfinity, it is they qualify at 2:05 p.m. There's no practice. And then the race is at 6:30. And then these are all Central Standard Times for me. So I thought they canceled practice for the Cup Series too. Oh, they did. I'm sorry, I misquoted. It's qualifying. It's Friday, and then Saturday is the race. So there is no practice this weekend for a Cup or Xfinity. But trucks there is because they're at Lime Rock, which should be a cool race to watch. That's a pretty cool place.
That's the one in Connecticut, right?
Yep. I think it's, what is it? Granite Falls or something like that, if I remember right, or something along those lines.
Rob,
what's that?
You're gonna have to read everything because my one whole side of my computer's froze and I can't get into read anything where the reminders are. The Gale and all that.
Yep, no problem. Are we good to start with that, or?
Yeah, if you guys are ready.
All right. So reminder, if you have not done so yet, please check out stickygears.com and purchase one of our Area 51 Racing Podcast t-shirts for just $15. A portion of that money goes directly to Jeremy Clements Racing to keep Jeremy on the racetrack. Also, please check out Anna Moore Designs LLC for more Area 51 Racing Podcast merchandise, such as tumblers like this one, garden flags like the one over there, and stickers.
The big flag
small and big stickers. I don't have them out. I'm sorry. I apologize, but they're 3-inch stickers are $4 each, and then the bigger ones are $8 each. If you want to order something from Anna Moore Designs, just shoot Anna a message on her Facebook page. And if you want to buy stickers, you can contact Bobby on his Facebook page or through the Area 51 Racing Podcast page as well. Gale Beard Products is a partner of Area 51 Racing Podcast. Their products are the official beard product of the Area 51 Racing Podcast crew. Go to www.galebrand.com to place an order. At checkout, enter the discount code Area 51 and get 15% off your order and free shipping. Remember, guys, make them say it.
Golly.
Golly. Check out the Racing Warehouse website for Jeremy Clements hats from their apparel company, Armadillo Apparel. Also check them out for any sheet metal, diecast, or other racing memorabilia needs that you may be looking for. Also pay attention to their social media sites, specifically their Facebook page. Every day they have items up for auction, live auctions every day. So they also announce like if they have a sale going on or whatever. So that's a good source if you're looking for something affordable and high quality as far as apparel goes. Armadillo Apparel does a lot of work for us, like the polo Bobby's got on, hat Dave's got on. They do a great job. So check out Armadillo Apparel and the Racing Warehouse website for more information. And if you want to place an order, please do so. For your NASCAR diecast needs, please check out Circle B Diecast, the official diecast company of the Area 51 Racing Podcast. At checkout, enter the discount code Area51 for $6 off shipping. Check out Benzik Designs, the official diecast display products of the Area 51 Racing Podcast. Check out Matt Benzik, the owner of Benzik Designs Etsy page to order your 124, 118, and 116 scale diecast display stands. At checkout, make sure you enter discount code Area51 for 20% off your order. And if you're interested in purchasing any Kylie Glick Racing merchandise, please go to the Kylie Glick Racing Facebook page and click on the link in her post for ordering merchandise. Bobby, Dave, and I would like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Remember, you can always watch our podcast live on our YouTube channel or listen to it at any time on our Spotify channel. Just click on the Area 51 Racing Podcast logo on Spotify app to listen. Pick the episode you want, and you can listen in your car, wherever, on a computer, on your phone, whatever device that you have available. And are able to have the Spotify app on. If you like our podcast, please share with your friends and family. Please also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and our social media platforms on Facebook, X, and Instagram at Area 51 Racing Podcast. On that note, you guys got anything else for tonight? Otherwise, I'm just going to bring an end to episode 81 and thank all of our viewers, listeners, and our partners who make this podcast possible. Without you, Bobby, Dave, and I wouldn't be able to do this every week. We greatly appreciate all the support. Thank you to Spartan Waste, Fox Sports Spartanburg, Harrison's, Action RV, Kylie Glick Racing, Mattman Designs, The Runner's Roost, Alliance Drive-Away Solutions, Anna Moore Designs, Circle B Diecast, Driven Sunglasses and Driven Trackside, Elite Towing and Recovery, High Speed Auto, Boost Pops, The Racing Warehouse and Armadillo Apparel, Belcher Cheesecake Creations, Flying Form Concrete Structures, First Pacific Funding, Gale Beard Products, Wings Etc., Dialed In Focus Pouches by Whitetail Smokeless, Benzik Designs, Schanzenbach Landscaping, Enigma Tattoo Studio, Aero Parts Group, Overworld Apparel Group LLC, and then Jeremy Clements and Jeremy Clements Racing. Again, without all your support, Bobby, Dave, and I are not able to do this podcast. So we greatly appreciate everything you do for us and continue to do for us.
And I'd like to thank our sponsor for tonight's episode 81, Enigma Tattoo Studios. Also, thank you to Dave and Rob for everything that you guys do. And now we know that I need some technical difficulty help with my laptop before episode 100. So I will be definitely trying to work on this.
Well, hopefully our technical difficulty video man, Brandon Henry, will be available and at the event. So in case something happens, he can just step in and fix it for us. Because I know I'm not going to be of any help because I'll make it worse because I'm computer stupid. So
you said it, not us, brother.
Yeah, I know. And I think I'll probably be laughing too hard seeing you riding a mini Shetland horse into the the parking lot at Harrison. So, but either way, I digress.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that being said, episode 81 is over, and we will see you guys next week. I believe it's, or actually, we'll see. You guys will see Rob for 82 this week, and then I believe 83 is race recap also.
Yeah. Yeah. The next podcast we have is
July 2nd.
yeah, I believe it is. It's
No, July 8th.
July 8th. It's Ava Hansen, a young female open wheel driver that's going to come on the podcast. She's actually from my hometown here in Wisconsin. So looking forward to speaking with her. She's very talented, just like Kylie Glick is, who we partner with out in California. So, yeah.
All right. Dave, have a good weekend, or have a good rest of your week and a good weekend. Rob, you also.
Thanks. You too, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you.
Dave.
We'll see you guys